What's that, Skip? Seano's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everyone, it's Seano again, and we're here today to do our Round 8 Trade Talk video. We'll go through potential downgrades and upgrades for all of us out there in the community, and then I'll go through and let you know the trades that I'm thinking about doing. All right, let's get into it. So the downgrades, well, that's going to be pretty short. It's going to be a pretty short list of people this week. There is not many to go for. So if we look at cash cows, number one here, Oscar McDonald. He's on the bubble. Break even negative 64. 52k projected price rise. Now, I'm not going here, and I'm going to tell you why. So he has come into the Fremantle team to replace a few outs. Now, one of those outs is Jackson, which is due back this week. Oscar McDonald's been doing a bit of a chop out in the ruck for Darcy, so you assume that if Jackson comes back in, he's either going to take over that role or he's going to get dropped altogether. Now, also there's Patrick Voss, the full forward, who is suspended, which will come back in a few weeks for Freo. So even if he does make it through this week, he's almost bound to be dropped in a few weeks for Voss, who was actually playing okay. He couldn't kick a goal to save his life, but he was clunking some good marks and looked okay up there and forward. If he managed to kick a few goals, he'd be doing very well for Fremantle. So I think he's a risk. I can totally understand if you want to bring him in, but just be very wary. I'd definitely be checking the team sheets to make sure he is named. And then I would be taking into account you might not get too many pay rises out of him. Hopefully you do. You might, you never know, but I think it's very risky. Now, as for anyone else, Elijah Hewitt, it's probably a little bit late at 220k. He doesn't have too much money to make. At the best, if he hits a few more big scores, he might get over 300. I mean, he is an option if you were a bit desperate, but I've already got him, so I won't be thinking about it, but I can understand if you did, but I probably wouldn't suggest going there either. Matthew Carroll, he did okay this week. He is playing through the midfield at Carlton. His time on ground is not fantastic, but it's okay. It's pretty good. And so I think he's still a valid option at 150. Definitely want to check the team sheets and make sure he is named. I was a bit worried that he might be the sub this week, just gone, but he wasn't. And so I think if he's playing, he's not going to start as the sub. So I think it's not too late to get on. If you want to, you can potentially, if he has a few more good scores, he can potentially make you some money. Anybody else? Sardis, if you have held Sardis, there's a rumour that he may be playing this week. Shield may be rested or slightly injured, and he might be playing. So if you've held him all this time, I really hope for your sakes he does come out and play. I wouldn't be getting him in. I don't think at 190k I'd be getting him in, but hopefully he plays for you and makes you a little bit of money. Clay Hall, if he's named again, I guess is an option. 180, I probably wouldn't be going there at that elevated price. I think the other West Coast rookie Gross is probably better if he is named. If you've held those boys, hopefully they will be named and make you some money. You really don't know what's going on in the Eagles though, so I definitely wouldn't be getting them in. Like I said, if I was going to pick one or the other, it would probably be Gross. I think he's probably cheaper, and I think he has more. He looked better. He passed the eye test. He looked better. So he's -6 break even. Got himself. First score was 51 at 82, and then he was sub for 11. So if he came back and got a 40, which is hopefully the minimum you want if he played the midfield, he'd go up 20k. But I'd say you'd really want a 60, so you'd probably go up about 30k. So, and then it'll take a little while couple of weeks to reinvigorate that cash gen. But I really think you can't make any predictions on whether they're going to be the sub or going to be dropped. No one knows what's going on down there at the Eagles. So I think that would be highly risky. Now, the other one that we all hoped that was going to be available this week was James Tunstall. He, unfortunately, was also the sub. Now, a lot of us were hoping, including myself, that we could pick him up after a nice 88 the first week, hoping he got a reasonable score this week and we could pick him up. Unfortunately, no, he's a sub. It's a 13. So if he's named, and if he's named on the field, like I'd be waiting till team sheets came out, and I'd be waiting until right before the game to see if he's a sub or not, if you consider bringing him in. I guess there's always the chance that he will be the sub again or potentially dropped. So that's a bit of a disappointment, but who knows? Maybe they liked his game and he gets a full game next week. Even if he gets a full game and gets a 32, which you expect him to get more than that, say he's going to go up 30k. If he gets a 50 or say he gets a 60, he will go up 45k. So he's almost going to go to be one of those high-priced rookies, which you could think about, but it's going to be tricky to get him if he does become a permanent fixture in that team. And the Brisbane has such a good team, that's probably going to be very unlikely unless he does great things. So I don't really think there is anybody else worth considering. I don't think where's Connor Stone got himself. I traded him out and he got himself a 75 and re-kicked his cash gen going. I would not go there. So I think that's your only options for people on the bubble this week. There are two more options, very risky options, and they would be the two who are, if you want to go early. So the first person is the Hawthorn gentleman, Hustwaite. So this guy looks pretty good. Played a full game, break even negative 23, got a 72. Was against the Eagles though, but So if you were going to go early on someone, this is my pick. He's in the team due to some injuries. I believe it's Nash. That is the position that he's taken, which is going to be out for at least a while. So there's a reasonable chance that he keeps his spot. And I think, it looks like they prefer maybe they had the other rookie, Tunstall, as the sub. So hopefully they continue that. So I think if you're going to go early, and I'm considering this myself, I think this is the man. You never really should go early. Now, let me put the warning signs out. Any rookie you go early on, you can almost bet that they're going to be the sub, or they're going to get a terrible score, or they're going to get injured, and they're going to be stuck on your bench, not playing, and not going up in money, and not helping your team. So, Supercoach gods, they're very fickle, the Supercoach gods. They will punish you for making decisions like this, but sometimes, like this week, we don't have much choice. So that's one. And the other one is the Western Bulldogs defender, Jed Buslinger. Break even negative 8. Let's see how we go. You got a 57, which for a rookie is okay. This guy, though, I really don't know a lot. I think it'd be very risky to bring this gentleman in, hoping that he was going to play a couple of weeks. I'd much prefer if you waited to next week, which is what I'll be doing. If he plays next week, he plays a full game, he's not sub, and he gets a reasonable score, I don't think we'll have too many other options. We might have to just get him in. But this week, I think out of the two, the Hawthorn Hustwaite is a better option if you're going to go early. With this, only these few options for downgrades, I think this would be the perfect week if you've got a bit of a money in the bank. not to downgrade at all, just to go, hopefully, chuck some money on top of a rookie, go upgrade to a fallen primo, and then wait next week to do some downgrades to make some money. So if you were thinking about doing that and you're looking to get a fallen primo, let's have a look and see who is available. So we will change our filters to, we're going to put anyone between 450 and 600. We're not looking at, I think at this time, yes, it would be awesome to get a Butters or a Bont, but we just can't risk the money for us. And if you guys can afford that money, I totally understand if you go there, but I will give a warning. This is something I find very hard. I play Supercoach with my heart, and I want those players. I want Butters in my team. I want the Bont in my team. I see them scoring 150s every week, and I'm like, wow, I nearly need that guy in my team. Unfortunately, I'm going to go and get the guys and put them in my team, and then I'm behind because I'm getting my team to full primo just because I've spent all that money. That money on, say, Bont, what's his at 680 or something like that. That extra 180 that I'm paying for him over paying for a fallen primo, which is like at 500k, I could have chucked that on the top of another rookie and potentially got two fallen primos. So that way you fill up your team earlier, you get high scores, you get the rookies off the field, and yes, two fallen primos may and probably should outscore a Bont and a rookie most weeks. Yes, occasionally Bont might get 180 and your rookie might get an 80 and good. That's a good week. But in general, you want to get those rookies off the field because more likely Bont will get 150 and 1 week and your rookie will get a 30. And even worse, you'll get 120 and your rookie will get 30 and your two fallen primos would have got 100 each and you're losing out on points. Anyway, so I'm thinking this week you got some targets. So my number one, well, I don't know about my number one, but number one here I think is Cherry. If you don't have him, it's time to get on. If I wouldn't be dropping to Goning to get him, but if you've got a ruck that's not working for you, whether that's a Briggs or somebody else who you went with and they're not working, this is probably the cheapest you're going to see him. He got 158. He's back in form. Break even of 41, which he'll hit for sure. So 144 and 158. Back into his awesome form. He's almost guaranteed to be top 2 rucks at the end of the year. Even if he has a bad week this week and only gets 100, he's still going to go up 20k, almost 30k, to be 610, which almost makes him in that I don't want to pay bracket for me. I think there's way too much value out there at the moment to be paying over 600k for a player, no matter how much I want the Cherries and the Bonts and the Butters of the world. So who else? Lockie Ash is killing it. Still high price, but not over that 600k. I can understand if you wanted to go there. Plus, he's probably a little bit of a pod. Yep, 6.8% of teams. I even had a bit of a look at him pre-season, but I didn't have the courage to pick him. Would have been a good pick if you did. Here's one that you should be seriously considering. Jack Sinclair, down to 570k. He is 22k less than what he was at the beginning of the season. What type of break even? He's got 167 break even, so maybe not this week. Next week or the week after is going to be the time to pick him up. I paid full price for him, which is another mistake that, like we're just saying, really I shouldn't have paid full price. If I had waited, I could have got him, could potentially get him at, if he gets 110, he's at 550. So 550k is a real bargain for Sinclair. So I'd be waiting 1 or 2 weeks and you could get him around 550k, which would be very nice. Lloyd Meek, well, he played the Eagles and destroyed us, so that's where he got his 161. I wouldn't be considering him. Nasiah is having a very good season. I can understand if you're getting him in the team. He's gone up 34k. He's not exactly a fallen primo, but he is a primo if you're trying to fill out your back line. He has also got a fairly high break even, so might be one to wait for to the next week. Dunkley, very juicy price of 529k. If you were thinking about Dunkley, this is the time, to jump on. Probably, maybe you can wait one more week and see if he drops a little bit. If he gets if he gets 120, he goes down 4k. If he gets 100, he'll go down 15. So he could be as low as 510, 515 next week. Definitely someone that should be on your radars. I have no problems with you picking him up this week. We've seen he has a big ceiling. We know he can score. Caleb Sarong, and we all know he's not killing it as much as we would like, but I think he's a pretty good value at 570. There's all the chances that he'll be in the top 8 midfielders at the end of the season. So I have no problems. That's someone maybe you guys could be looking for. Zorko. Now, I think this is a really good pick, either this week or next week. He actually played a good game this week. Score-wise, Supercoach-wise, he played a good game. He had lots of possessions. He did have that correct role. The only issue why he got 100, he got 104 instead of 130, is he had like 5 clangers. So take those clangers out, clean it up a little bit, and he would have had another big score. So I definitely wouldn't be getting rid of him, and I'd definitely be thinking about getting him in. So, if he gets 100 this week, he'll go down 11k, but he could also get 120, 130 this week. So I think right about now, this week or next, is the week you want to grab Zorko. I think that's on my opinion. I already have him, but if I didn't, I'd be getting him for sure. McRae. Connor Rosie, gone up to 534, plus 4.7k the season. I had him at the beginning. I traded him out. I totally understand if you're getting him. He did play a little bit more midfield this week. He did get a tag, but he managed to shake the tag. So I understand if you're going there is value there, I think. My big question is, like with Zorko, do I think Zorko is in the top 6 to 8 defenders in the year? Yes, 100%. Is Connor Rosie in the top 6 midfielders if he doesn't get defender status? If he's is he the top 8 midfielders? I'm not too sure. If he might be anywhere from 8 till 12 or to 14 or 15. He could be just outside them. But as a defender, I would say more than likely, if he gets that mid-defender status, there's a good chance that he will be in the top 6 to 8 defenders. So if you think he's 100% going to keep that back role, great, get on him. I can totally understand it. I'm not completely sold that he's going to stay in that role yet. I have to see him stay there for probably a few more games and do well. Who else are we looking at? Jordan Clark has gone down a bit. Mr. Consistent, we like to call him, if we can say it. Average just smacks out 100 every week. Just hits 100 every week. I think his lowest scores are 94 every other week. No huge scores, no massive ceilings, but 100, I could totally understand you jumping on him at 530. Seems like a very reasonable price. The Shees is back. He had that back roll, that seagull run around getting possession role in the back line. Will he hold the position? I don't know. I'd be a little bit dubious. I'd be waiting to see what's his break even, 110, if he holds the role before I get him. Walsh seems like a reasonable price. As we can see, there are a lot of options here. There's another one that I really like. Rankinine, if you don't have him at 497, you can still jump on there. That seems pretty reasonable. Down 24k from when he started the season, so you're getting a bit of a bargain. Definitely want to jump onto that. Here's one I really like. Here's two that I like. Lachie Neale, only $5.60. I think this could be the cheapest you're going to get him all season. Definitely worth a look. 100% worth a look. You might have noticed we didn't have many downgrades, but we've got a lot of upgrades, a lot of value at the moment. So you want to keep your eye on the ones you really want and don't let that value go back up if you can. Sometimes it's hard when you don't have no downgrades, but I mean, Lachie Neale, if I had the money, I'd be snapping him up. And Holmes had been killing it. He seems very up and down, but he seems very affordable now at $520K. If you like the look of Holmes, he seems to have one big game and then one not so good game. He's got a big break even, so maybe wait a week or two and you could get him under $500K. That could be a real bargain. So I wouldn't be getting him this week, but definitely a chance to pick him up in the next couple of weeks. If he gets 100, it'll be at less. It'll be like $490, which is pretty cheap considering someone who's got 125, 91, 127, 72, 147, 80 and a 70. So every second week, except the last 2 weeks, he seems to have gone big. If you're willing to put up with the occasional 70 or 80, it might be the way to go. And if you're getting a player for under 500K, I think that's reasonable to expect an occasional 80 or so, but he's got a pretty good ceiling, so I kind of like that pick too. So then there are two more. Than Jordan Dawson, bargain basement price of $500. That's pretty good price for a potential premium. Yes, he is definitely out of form or not getting the scores that we would like him to get. If you started with him, you thought you were doing really well. 103, 124, 96, 124. He's got a 60, 113 and a 76. So you can see he's got those first 4 rounds. If he scored that like that for the rest of the season, you'd be super happy for a player under 500K. So if you decided you wanted to pick him up, I would totally understand, but not this week. Break even 100, so probably is this week. If you wanted to get him this week, it's probably the week to go. Now, where do we go? Clayton Oliver, no. Matt Rowell still at 550, had a bad score. If you're liking Matt Rowell, he's still very affordable. You got Patrick Cripps under 500. I probably wouldn't be going there, but that's a pretty bargain basement price for someone who can pump out big scores with high ceilings. There's so much value. Now, here's one man that I think we all should be looking at pretty good this week. He has got the Eagles, so he's got potential to get another big score. This is the biggest score he's got so far. He's got a break even at 70. So the chances are he may not go below this. And with that forward, midfield, dual position availability, he's very, very good. I think he is one of my targets for this week. I've got 2 targets. He's one of them. I'm kind of deciding between him and let's see if we can find the other gentleman. I think there's one more that we're going to look at. Scored around about a 120. Chad Warner. So Warner, he's had a bit of an up and down season. The things I like about Warner, besides his price of $460K, which is super cheap, and if you go through and look at his past seasons, he does have a high ceiling. His break even was 79, so this is probably the cheapest you're going to get him. He's shown already that he can smack 100. He had a few bad games. This 54, you can't count that. He was subbed out. That was half a game. So either take it out or count as 100. So he's had, had some good games. He's showing he can get over 100. The last 2 weeks have been 71 and 121. And one of the things I like about Chad Warner is his role has changed slightly over the last couple of weeks. He has gone from he's now having quite a lot more midfield time, like CBAs. If we have a quick look, Supercoach. I think it's something like he went from about a 50-50 from being midfield to forward to now he went to 75% midfield to 25% forward. So that is a good sign that hopefully that role continues and he's back in there in the middle, even though he did only get that, the 70 this week. No, he got the 121 this week. He had the 70 the week before. But both times he played a lot more in the midfield than he did in the forward. So CBAs, you can see 70% and 78%, where the weeks before it was 44. I think that's the sub week where, so 68, 54. So the last 2 weeks he's played more in the middle than he has the rest of the season. So if that was to continue, I think there are 121 scores in his future, maybe. I think that it's quite likely that could happen. So he is another one I think you should really be looking at, especially at that super cheap price. Well, I think that gave you a lot of upgrades. That was a lot of potential upgrades there. There is a lot of value around at the moment. And if you're like me, you don't have much money. So if we have a look at what potential trades I'm thinking of this week, like I said, I think it's between Petrarca and Chad Warner, myself. The value is just there. They're under 500k. I would love to hold off a week and wait for some better downgrade options. But the problem with my team at the moment is when I look at other people's teams around me, they all seem to have one more primo on the field than I do. Now, this is because I paid up for a Whitfield. Pre-season, before the season, I paid up for Zorko. I paid up for Sinclair at full price. If I had picked lower, not paid premium prices for these guys, I might have an extra 200k in the bank, which potentially could make an extra primo on the field if I could chuck that on the top of a head of a rookie. So at the moment, I'm pretty much one primo behind most of the good teams. So I need to do the best I can to get these rookies off the field and get some primos in. And that means I'm going to have to take some of these cheaper guys and hope that they're good. Whether it's a Petrarca, a Warner, a Dawson, over the next few weeks, I'm going to have to snap some of these guys up and just hope they regain form, or hope that, they start putting out the performances that they've showed us they can do in the past. So you might have guessed, if you're looking at right underneath me, down there, who I might be going for. So out of Petrarca and Warner, I'm going to go Warner, just because of those facts that I showed you before. I think they're both good. I think they both have potential for good scores. I'm pretty sure they'll both end up around the same average at the end of the season. They both have high ceilings. Petrarca has Eagles this week, so there's a good chance he goes really big this week. Warner has GWS, so there's a chance he doesn't go big this week. I don't think he cops the Bedford tag. I think Heaney cops the Bedford tag. Heaney seems to be the more damaging player, and more teams seem to tag him more. So that I'm going to get Warner in the team. And the other big reason is he is cheaper. And that's a big thing to me at the moment. Like I just said, I need to get more premiums on the field. And the only way to do that is to get money into the bank. And so I know it's only 30k, but I'm thinking that 30k might be the difference between me being upgraded to a player that I really want or being a few thousand short next time I upgrade. So considering I feel like they can both score about the same and average about the same, I'm going to go for the cheaper player. How am I going to get it done? Well, the other thing is, if I wanted to get Petrarca, I'd have to get rid of Trainer. And I think that I've made the decision that I'm going to try and hold Trainer for the next few weeks and possibly through right up into the bye rounds. It might not be possible. I might have to get Bustlinger next week and he might have to be the one to go to get him, which will be a shame because he's probably going to go down in money again this week. But if you have a look, if he goes down, he went down this week and he'll probably go down, he went down 3K this week. And they predicted if he gets to 65, which is about right, he'll probably go down 10K next week. So that's 13K that he's gone down. But if he gets to 64 the week after, he goes up 20K. So you've instantly made that 13K back plus another 7K on top. So by the time his buy comes around in round 14, he's predicted at 65 to get 300K. So I could potentially make another 40,000 just by holding on to him. So that sounds all right. Plus, I don't mind him as an on-field option. Obviously, we don't want Carroll on the field. I think we're just going to go with Reid this week and hopefully he can back up another big score. We've got... This is not Chad Warner, this is Corey Warner. But to get Chad Warner, we might have to get rid of him. So this is the best way I can see. Reid, I kept him hoping that he would make me a little bit of extra money. Unfortunately, he got a 35, and that's why I want to get these rookies off the field. He's been going great, but it's always the risk of having a rookie on the field that you're going to cop a score like that. And his break even is 64. So at 64, he might not get there. He might or he might not. So he could potentially lose money again. So I'm going to get rid of him. And the only option I really have, I feel, is to go early. I really don't like going early and I really don't recommend this. But this is the only way I can get the Warners and the Petrarcas in my team at their current price before they go up. So I'm taking a risk. I don't like it. I would not recommend it, but I am going to do it myself. The old story of do what I say and not what I do. The great line your parents always used on you. So, okay, so we got Hustwaite there. I hope that's how you say his name. Now, I think this is going to be nice and confusing and kind of funny. So, out of everyone's break even here, we've got an 86, negative 28, 56, 25, 53, 104, 7 and 17. So the ones Henderson's not playing, I'd love to be able to get rid of him, but it doesn't give me enough money. If I want to trade out Henderson, I cannot afford Warner. We would be 41,000 short. So I only really have a choice really out of Trainer or C. Warner. We'll be trading. So this is going to be our trade. At the moment, these are the two trades we're going to do. C. Warner for C. Warner. Please don't mix them up. Corey Warner has been playing in the forward pocket, and so his potential for scoring is not great. He'll probably do a Stone and come out and score a 75 now this week if I trade him out. But the difference between him and Stone is Stone played in the back line. So he always, I thought, had an opportunity to get a reasonable score. He just didn't deliver for me. So Warner, now in the team, gives us 17K in the bank, which is, I think if we went the other way and we had Trainer and got rid of Trainer and got Petrarca, we would have about the same, but I'm still thinking that Trainer in the long run is going to make me more money than the Corey Warner. So how are we going to set up our team? So they're going to be my trades, just so in case we can do this, just so in case. So Reid and Corey Warner out, Hustwaite and Chad Warner in. That gets a rookie off the field for me. So I think we will play him, we'll put him in the forward line. And then with the setup of the team, Cleary might have, he had a very good game here, so maybe we put him up there, and if one or the other of these two, whoever plays first, hopefully, I don't know if Patton gets a game, but what do you reckon, guys? I'm not too sure. We'll have to decide who we want to put on field, but we get another rookie off the field for the moment, and that makes me feel a little bit better. We got another primo. The forward line is pretty much complete. We just need one more primo here. Who that's going to be, whether it's a Horn Francis or a Petrarca, they're probably the two which stand out at the moment, who I'm thinking about to complete my forward line. But I think both of those guys, I won't be able to afford another unless I do a boost next week. I still have 3 boosts available, which is pretty good. Even I look at some of the other good teams and they've got 2 or 1 or even none. So 3, I've got maneuverability. If next week there's 2 good rookies available, I can downgrade twice and upgrade once maybe. I don't really know who I'm going to cull. I don't really have anybody I need to cull at the moment. With the break-evens, I think the only one, again, Buslinger, I'd hate to get rid of Trainer. I just did the big speech about how I want to keep him, but I might not have any option. I mean, I guess I could think about getting rid of Reed, but I like the both of them. Carroll will still have money to be made, so can't really get rid of him. Maybe Kako. Maybe it's time for Kako to go after one more week. Maybe that's about, his 50 is about his max score, seems to be. I'm still waiting for him to have a game where he kicks a couple of goals and gets a 70 or an 80. It will happen. It's just when it's going to happen. Henderson, if I can get rid of Henderson and get all playing rookies on the field, making me some cash, I'll definitely do that next week. How I would get, I don't think Buslinger I can't swap anymore. Now that we've got Flynn in the flex, the team is very hard to maneuver around. It's so much easier and so much flexible with the flex player to move players around and get who you want in. So for the next few weeks, I'm hoping Flynn just smashes 100 for a couple of weeks and lets me sell him off and make a heap of cash. Goes up to 450, 500 really quickly. Sell him off and get some type of primo, hopefully dual position player to be playing there. The more I think about it, the more I would love to have Cherry, the 3 big rucks, the more trouble I think it'll cause you team-wise, trying to move things around and get players on the field. So I'm hoping by the time the buys come, it's time to sell Flynn. Even though it's going to be pretty tricky if he's getting 100 every week, you're not going to want to sell him, but you might just have to. That's what we're going to do this week. We're going to set the team up like that. What's our predicted scores? 2,256, which you can't pay much attention to, but at least it gives you an idea. I do like the team like this. I still would really like one more primo on the field. I still feel like I'm a primo behind most of the other teams. We have the one rookie here. We're not even going to count Bryce as a rookie. I mean, if he keeps scoring at this stage, you're going to keep him right through to the end. So we've got one rookie here. Really got 2 rookies here. Rookies who can score pretty well, so I don't mind them there. But don't be surprised if they drop you a 40. It can happen. So the sooner we get them off the field, the better. Still like Ashcroft through to the buys. Maybe Lindsay through to the buys as well. And Cleary, well, he showed he got a 90, and then what did he get? He got a 40 or something, and then he's got an 89. So, don't love him on the field either, but, he's doing okay. So anyway, guys, that was the video for today. I hope you liked it. Leave me a thumbs up and please subscribe and a comment down below. Tell me who you're going to trade in. Let me know if you think I missed any downgrades or upgrades. And I hope you have an awesome day. We'll see you next time. Take it away, Skip.